for whatever reason. One may consider the journey a pilgrimage of sorts, for it is understood that we shed blood and sweat and tears in the land outside Africa, and therefore we are connected to those lands as well. One needs only to observe the fanaticism for which the whites in South Africa hold on to the land they have taken, to understand the importance of holding on to the place where we presently live. We should not be easily give up the lands outside Africa, but we have to keep our African heritage alive at all times, by all costs, and by any means necessary. Rastafari is an African way of life. Our deity is African. Our prophet is African. Our signs and our symbols and philosophy are also African. Therefore, to live out the essence of an African way of life, this is the depth to which we are able to take the concept of repatriation. In this way, we can keep our cultural values alive to be passed on to our descendants. Rastafari. Sixth principle, Ital, or the natural way. Most people think Ital means not only to eat meats or salt, or only applies to our diet. However, it goes much, much deeper than diet. Ital means natural living in all things. It is a concept that extends into the entire world. There are some of us who employ extreme measures to place everything there are some among us who employ extreme measures to everything they do. Some of us place the strength of one's faith on just how long a person's locks are, or what one wears or does not wear. Well, even though we are against excesses and indulges in vanity, we must also guard against fanaticism in our way of life. Each one must be allowed to express the concept of Ital living in his own way. Otherwise, we will do more harm to our way of life than our down-pressers. We must be careful in order not to incite dissension among us. Discipline and order are always important. We must not become down-pressive within our ranks. We must be flexible like the palm tree in the eye of a storm, or we will be broken like the oak that refuses to bend with the wind. Whether one wears locks or not, eat meat or not, as long as he or she does not straighten his hair or eat pork, then he should be accepted and respected amongst the brethren. The same goes for the daughters among us, for they too are a part of our way of life, and there is room in Rastafari for the brethren who separates himself from mankind to live in the mountains, and there is also room for the daughter who wishes to become a surgeon for our sick people. There is room for Rasta and a lot more than we have seen so far. We need to open our eyes and our minds to the many possibilities and points of our development. Otherwise, we might be left behind within the human race. Yelei, Rastafari. The Ital way lends itself to environmental concerns as well. The desire for clean air and water and protection of our trees are of high importance to Rastafari, as well as to the rest of the world. The need to protect the endangered animals, and even more important, to protect the earth. This is to the extent to which we aspire to develop the Ital way of life. This principle is one which we will be judged by because of our dedication or by our lack thereof, that we show in our implementation of it as an admirable practice. Yilai, Ital way. The seventh principle, reason, the way of reason. The way of reason is not unique to Rasta, but Rastafari it is probably true that Rastafari consciously practice reasoning more than most people. Reason is most essential part of growth and development of Rastafari. It is a part and parcel of everything we do. Taking it one step further, reasoning has grown into a part of our religious practices. To sit and reason in the mind of Rastafari is almost important as worshiping the Creator. Reasoning is a gift from Jah, Rastafari. There is no limit to the things we can reason out, but it is not as easy or simple as we would think. There are also rules to be observed during the process of reasoning with another brethren or daughter. Know of what you speak. Say what you mean, and respect the thoughts of others. There are certain things one might say to an individual, but would not say to a group. One must know when to apply the power of reason. This comes with experience. The language we use is carefully chosen for several reasons. As Rastafari, we observe the power of words and of sound. We are keenly aware of each man's tone of voice and the choice of words he speaks. And we are extremely critical of our women. And we do not usually allow women in our circle of reasoning, for we have traditionally disregarded our women's ability to reason things out. We see our women as being too emotional to fully engage in the art of reasoning. This perception is, of course, wrong. If we truly use our power of reason, we would clearly see that we have not given our women the chance to prove themselves. We must use this power to take our way of life to the highest possible point that we could take it. What we are striving for is righteousness, and the power of reason can take us there. However, we must be wise in our thoughts, fair in our words, moderate in our actions, and strong in our deeds. We must know of what we speak and never speak words for which we have no reason. Careful and considerate examination of every and anything we come in contact with. This is the objective of this reasoning, for there can be no limits placed upon this practice of reasoning. The inclusion. As stated in the introduction, there are many other components that combine to the giving to the meaning of our way of life. The components come in forms of music, art, and any other project we endeavor to accomplish in the name of Rastafari. And this reasoning, present reasoning, is not intended to tell anyone how or what to think in regards to his or her belief. It is intended to give us a central point from which to proceed. Like a great wheel with many spokes radiating from the center, these 7 principles represent the center